Well, I think the wicket will be very different. If you see Adelaide, it was a drop-in wicket, and at times, it's quite difficult to judge how exactly a drop-in wicket, will conduct over the period of time. What we have seen is, in case of dropping wicket, either they are too juicy or they are slightly on the flatter side. It's difficult to make the perfect sporting wicket. But this, I feel, there'll be something extra for the bowlers, especially the fast bowlers. It's one of the venues which is known for the kind of bounce it generates, and it looks like a good wicket. Whatever we saw, it was yesterday. Now the press conference is before the practice, so we have not really seen the wicket. It seems it will be quite hard, and the role of the spinners will be slightly less. But as the game progresses, because of the foot marks and with Mitchell also bowling left arm over the wicket, there will be something for the off spinner. As far as the combination is concerned, we don't really discuss the combination before the start of the game, so you'll have to wait and watch. Jadeja, I feel, is not available. I think that's what the physio have told her, because of impingement of something, whatever it is, but he's not available for the game. So Ashwin, again, what we have seen of Ashwin is he's definitely somebody who can bat lower down the order, and I feel it is very important, because at times what we have seen is our 8, 9 or 9, 10 and 11, we have lost them very cheaply, which means if there's a batsman with them, he has not really been able to accelerate. So with Ashwin, if he plays and if he's around, he can be a bit of a help. And what we have seen is, if he spends decent time on the wicket, what we have seen of him is he scores very fluently. And not to forget, again, with the bowlers bowling round the wicket and with the foot marks, an off spinner can exploit it slightly more than maybe a left arm spinner or a leg spinner. It was the right approach. We went for the target, which I feel was very important. And also, if you see, the kind of partnership that was built over the period of time, because of that, we were in a position to chase down the number of runs that were given as target to us. Unfortunately, we lost wicket close to when Vijay got out, and a few wickets were lost there. And that was the time from where it was very difficult for us to come back and draw the game. So the only approach would have been to win the game from there. So it was a fantastic approach. The good thing was the commitment. We went for it, and throughout we tried to get the number of runs. The approach remains the same. If you see, more often than not, a lot depends on the kind of platform you get. What kind of partnership your batsmen have provided, the openers, the middle order, and then accordingly you see the number of runs you can put on board, and exploit the condition what's really there. So a lot depends on the momentum, how the game is moving, and then accordingly you decide what needs to be done, especially in condition where there's not much help for them. They have to change their attitude slightly. What becomes important is to keep one end tight, so that the fast bowlers, they can attack from the other end. And once there's a bit of help for them, what we have seen is, once the spinners get a bit of turn, there's plenty of bounce for them to exploit also, and that's the time they have to come in and look for wickets. And the good thing that what we have seen so far is, when we got wickets where there was a bit of turn, whether it was Durban or some of the other venues, the spinners have made the most out of it. But still, there are areas where we can improve, especially on wickets where there's no help and it's the first or the second day, when we are bowling, because that's the time you have to be very critical about whether you look to attack or you respect the condition and say, okay, I'll try to keep it slightly tight, and maybe the batsman they'll take me on and play the big shots, and ultimately I'll get a wicket. Yes, at times what you have to see is, according to the condition, who is the best bowler and what you actually need from that particular bowler. At times what we felt was Jadeja was a better option, because he could keep one end tight. He's a more accurate bowler, he keeps bowling in the same areas, and whenever there has been help or when we have asked him to bowl in the rough, he's consistently bowled in those areas. So that was something that was favouring Jadeja slightly more than Ashwin. Well, I think also what really happens is, you have to back the batsman or the bowler who you feel can be really special over the long run. And if you see Rohit, at times he has also been criticised for not making the most of the chances that he has got, even in the ODIs. But we kept giving him chances because we believe that he's an excellent cricketer, and once he crosses that phase, he'll be really good for the Indian cricket team. And now you can see that kind of a performance by him in the ODI circuit, and we feel he can really contribute in the Test circuit also. And it's just that we'll have to give him ample opportunity, because not to forget, in the Test matches we have in the middle, when we are in England, we also tried a 5-bowler combination, which meant Rohit had to be left out, and it becomes slightly tough for batsmen, when you give them like a couple of games and then they are out for like 4 or 5 games they play in India. But again, when overseas tour come, they don't really get chances regularly, so it becomes a bit difficult for batsmen at that point of time. I feel with bowlers, we keep using different bowlers depending on the condition, as to at the end of the day in a Test match you have to take 20 wickets to win a Test match. Yes, you need to score runs, whatever the opposition have scored, but if you're not able to get 20 wickets, it's very less likely that you'll win a Test match. So it's slightly different when it comes to the batsmen and the bowlers. Yes, if you talk about stats, what you said is right, but I'm very bad at stats, but still people feed me with a bit of stats, and some of the fastest wickets, we have won Test matches there, whether it's Durban, it was Joburg, it was Perth, and some of the other venues. So it will be a nice challenge for the youngsters. Most of the players who are part of the side are fairly young. They have good exposure of international cricket. A lot of them, they have been playing ODI cricket for a considerable amount of time, and they have been part of this team, for maybe 1.5 to 2 years, where the batsmen, more often than not, we have not shuffled too many batsmen. It's the same core group that has played all the Test matches, so it will be a nice experience for them, and they'll learn a lot, and hopefully they'll stand up and perform. With the TV coverage and everything now, we know about each and every stadium really well, the insides of the stadium, the stats tell a lot, and also during IPL, when you play with other fellow mates of the team, some of them come from Australia also, when you talk seriously about cricket, you start talking about stuff like how is Perth, or how is Gaba wicket, how does it generally behave, and all of that. Similarly, they ask us questions about how will a Kolkata wicket behave and stuff like that. So when it comes to information sharing, I think all the players, they've got ample information about the venue. And as far as experience is concerned, it's a bit difficult. The reason being, unless you are thrown into that kind of a scenario, it's very difficult to experience the same. So a lot will depend on how quickly they adapt to the condition. Well, whatever I've seen of him, he's a really fantastic kid. He backs himself to play the big shots. Plays the normal Aussie way, that's how he plays his cricket. So it will be interesting to see him. And what I expect from him, more than that, there's certain things that I would like to do with my team. So I'm not too much into, what I should expect of him. But overall, I think with Michael not being there, that's quite a big blow for them. Especially, if you see the stats, he has got some very simple stats against us. He comes in and scores runs. So to some extent, it will help us with him not being there. It's unfortunate still that he misses the Test series because of an injury. But hopefully, we'll see how it goes. So that's what I have to say, and hopefully, Steve will do well for the team. What's important is to be positive against the spinner, because if you don't put pressure on spinners, be it any spinner, whether it's a left armer or an off spinner, what you will end up is, they'll end up taking wickets against you. So it's very important to be positive, play a few big shots, and even if you get out playing a few big shots, you have to accept it, because at the end of the day, you are trying to put pressure on the bowler. So to say the exact reason why the off spinners are bowling well against us, we'll have to see the match condition, and all of that needs to be assessed. But overall, what I feel is you have to be positive against spinners, and that has been the case.